Good evening, everybody, and welcome back once again to MRC action on a Wednesday night. It is 7 o'clock, which means that it is time for the comp tier boys to show us what they got here at the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza for the Italian Grand Prix. We raced here on Monday night in Elite and Expert tier, and now it's the turn of the comp tier boys in beautiful sunny conditions here at Monza in Italy. My name's Chatty Duck. I will be taking you through the action tonight, and alongside me in the commentary box, it's BITW, aka Carl. Carl, good evening. How are you doing?
Good evening, great to be here. Third race of this week. Obviously, we had X on Friday, so fourth race overall. Coming to the end of our weekly tenure at Monza.
Yep. So some of these boys might have actually already had the chance to do a race around here, maybe as a reserve or in MRCX, as you said, or possibly even in their own tier, because I can see we've got a few reserves from higher tiers in this race tonight. Jay Sarge is here. Baby Hornet. Actually, no, Baby Hornet is a comp tier driver, but there's also my teammate from... Actually, where's he gone? I thought I just saw my teammate from Elite tier in the list, but I can't see him now, so maybe I'm just going a bit
Kaiser.
mad. Kaiser, yeah. Oh no, there he is. He's in the McLaren.
He's in a McLaren tonight.
Yeah, I just couldn't see him for some reason, but he is there.
And my teammate's in there as well. He's in a Williams. Fox.
Oh yeah. And a few drivers just starting their first flying laps of the session as we speak. We've got Connor in the Aston Martin coming through the turn 1 and 2 chicane. Baby Hornet is on the lap, and Geke Matthew as well in the AlphaTauri. So it'll be interesting to see the first few lap times coming in.
Yeah, crucial to get a banker lap, obviously, at the start of qualifying. And with the way Monza's laid out, you can make or break a lap at the very first two corners because of how tight those the chicane is, the Rettifilio chicane, and also the Della Roggia chicane as well. So you could practically mess your lap up even before you get to the middle part of the lap.
Yeah, that was one thing I found on Monday night, actually. In Elite tier, I was really struggling at turn 1 under braking to get the car stopped into that first chicane, and it was pretty much ruining every lap I did, unfortunately. But it hasn't looked like such a problem for Connor on his laps so far. Baby Hornet sets a marker at 1:23.0, and Connor now improves on that by 1/10 of a second into the 22s already, and Geke on a 23.7 so far.
Yeah, both those laps on the medium tyres, so obviously probably doing a medium tyre run at the start and then saving a set of softs towards the end.
Yes. And obviously at the moment we don't know what's going to happen, as Friddy sets at 1:20.4 and goes clear by 2.5 seconds, and that is a very, very impressive lap time indeed from Friddy. We saw something similar last time I was in the combox for the comp tier, was at the British Grand Prix a couple of rounds ago, and Friddy there had some excellent pace as well, and a 1:20.4 on his banker lap is very impressive indeed.
Yeah, I've kept with Connor because I think what Connor's done is because he's on the medium tyres, he's doing 2 laps instead of 1, so he's going back to back with the medium tyres, which kind of makes sense because obviously you can put a bit more wear on them because the more durable tyre.
Yeah, that's true. Martin telling us in the chat that it's all dry tonight. Thanks for that, Martin.
Yeah, Connor's improved to a 20.9. I think Baby Hornet also improved to a 21.0 on their medium tyres. So obviously the second time around beneficiary.
Yeah, so you were definitely right there, Kyle. They were just warming up their tyres on that first lap before really setting down their time on the second lap, and only for Connor, only half a second behind Freddie on the mediums, so he looks to have pretty decent pace at the
Yep.
moment.
I don't know what the difference is between the pace on the soft to the medium, so my guess is Connor has probably got it in the tank to probably set one of the quickest times tonight, probably in qualifying with the 20.9 on the mediums.
Yeah, I'm not sure either what that delta is between the two compounds. I would imagine at Monza that it's not so bad actually. It's probably, it could be around that half a second mark. So
Yeah, Airways in the Haas has gone P4 on the hard tyres. He's a expert tier driver, so he can only qualify on the hard tyres.
Fanning has been disqualified from this session.
He's expert tier, so my guess he's probably decided to start at the back and not qualify full stop and got himself disqualified, so he makes sure he starts at the back of the pack.
Okay, that makes sense.
Couple of the drivers have done it. It's just so they made sure that they're at the back end of the grid rather than not qualifying and probably being amongst the tier drivers.
Yeah, and I think that's why we're also seeing a few drivers setting their lap time on hard tyres as well. I think that's one of the rules. If you're from a higher tier, that you have to set your qualifying time on a slower
experts on
tyre.
hards, whereas elites, for this case, can't qualify at all because they're 2 tiers above. So if it's 2 tiers above, you can't qualify. If you're only 1 tier above, then you're qualifying on the hard tyres.
Yep, which is quite the hindrance around this track. Single track now is about to start his lap on the hard tyres in the AlphaTauri. And
different team in an AlphaTauri rather than a Williams.
Yeah, well, he was he raced in Elite on Monday as well, and he was in an Alpine. He was my teammate on that occasion, so we've seen him in a few different liveries this week.
Yeah, I was in a AlphaTauri for the Elite race. I was actually in Kids replacement. So yeah,
Big shoes to fill.
Big shoes to fill. Yeah. Sadly, I didn't make it. Ended up crashing out a few yards before the finish line. So not an ideal way to finish.
No, you would have been a classified finisher though.
I would have been
officially.
Yeah, classified a lap down, but in my eyes, I didn't make it. But
yeah, it's a shame. Single track, just about to come up to the Parabolica for his run on these hard tyres. There's been a few more lap times coming in at the front of the grid as well. Single track coming into the pits. We've had Stube, Armour Red and Wookie all going into the 120s. Stube just off Freddie's time by 300ths of a second, and Armour Red a couple of tenths back in P3.
yeah, Stube will want to grab this race by the scruff of the neck, with especially being in the Ferrari, but also being championship leader. And last week in China, his nearest contender before the race, which was Armour Red, he ended up not finishing, but sadly for Stube, he didn't score any points in China, so he didn't get to extend his lead in the championship. So hopefully he can redeem himself this week. Obviously the big beneficiary last week was Wookie, who won the race last time out in China. getting a big smash of 25 points for it.
Baby Hornet in the Ferrari goes on provisional pole, 1 minute 20.278. So the Tifosi fans will be loving that one. Their cars first and third at the moment on the grid, but still
Yep.
7 minutes left in this session. Plenty can change.
I'm wondering if he got a little bit of distant toe off of Stu, because they were going on the straight down towards Parabolica, which has had its name changed, but to me it'll always be known as the Parabolica curve. Stu was on the racing line, but then pulled over to the side to let Baby Hornet through. So my guess is Baby Hornet probably got a bit of a distant toe off of his teammate, so a bit of teamwork there by the Ferraris.
Did that? What's Parabolica called now? I didn't realise that had happened.
I don't know, to be fair. All I know is it's had a name change, but I don't know what that name change is, but I prefer to keep the name Parabolica.
Yeah. I mean, how can you change the name of the Parabolica? It's like a world famous, renowned corner. Crazy.
It's like turning around and changing the Ascari chicane, for example.
Yeah. I just hope they haven't done something like they might do with a football stadium and give it like a sponsor name or something. That would be really tragic.
I can't talk. I'm a Leicester fan, and our stadium's named after the company of the people that own us.
Well, you're not the only one by far. Connor's put himself back on the front row. 1 minute 20.3.
Yeah, on those soft tyres. So he did a 20.9 on his second run on the medium. So that's about 6/10 gained from his medium run to his soft run.
Yeah. So pretty good going. And he'll probably have time for one more run in this session. We've got just over 5 minutes to go. So we'll get a chance, if he can find any more time, to go out there and show it on the track. Wookie is currently the only man in the top 10 who is on a flying lap. Quite a few cars in the pits currently. Armour Red on an out lap. But we'll just stick on board with Wookie for the time being, see what his time is as he comes up to the second sector timing line. And he's about 6/10 off his best, so I don't think this is going to be an improvement for him. So instead, let's get on board with Armour Red coming through Curva Grande in Sector 1.
Yeah, coming into the Rettifilio, the Della Roggia chicane, sorry. Through the first of the two Lesmos. Comes out of Lesmo 2. DRS is now activated.
Oh, and he's invalidated through
Ascari,
unfortunately.
Yeah, cut the end. You can cut so much of the entry into Ascari, but I think he cut a little bit too much in the games. Like, yeah, that's slightly over the limits.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tricky one to get right.
It was a nice line through Ascari as well. Just turned in, I think, a slightly little bit too early on entry.
Yeah, and you do have to do that through there because it opens up the right-hander portion of the Ascari chicane, so you can get a good exit onto the back straight. But yeah, it's very easy to make that mistake, as we've now get a view of the pit lane and a few drivers now just making their way back onto the track for their final run in qualifying. 3 minutes to go. So anyone coming up now will have time for one more crack at it. As Jay Sarge pops it into P3 on the hard tyres. Just 100th behind Connor.
Has improved by half a second. He's a sports tier driver reserving tonight. So if 21-1 decent pace for a sports tier driver amongst comp tiers. So Winky holding his own in the Aston Martin.
Yeah, not bad at all. Whilst his teammate for the night, Connor, on his outlap, sitting on the front row currently, but looking for one more opportunity to improve on that. Two Ferraris coming out of the pits quite late, and Friddy is just coming onto the pit straight as well, I think, looking at the track map. So it'll be all of the top 10 gunning for an improved position as the Fox River 8 goes to P9 on the hard tyres.
Yeah, and as we saw earlier on, Sarge going P3 on those hard tyres. So not surprised with Sarge being a former top tier driver, obviously dropping down to expert with the assist changes.
Yeah, it's the first time I've seen Sarge on track for quite a while, because I used to race with him all the time back in Tier 1, and then, yeah, with the assist change, he went down to expert.
Oh, 5-place grid penalty for Smith, I think that is, for a slight block. So the game's not happy with that one.
Yeah, quite a shame that we missed what happened. Looked like he was in the final sector.
I don't know what it was, because I didn't see anything myself. But I think what it was is Smith was just going round to make sure his setup's fine, because obviously he's on a quali ban. Was meant to serve it last week in China, but he set a time, so the ban was moved to today, so he can't qualify. So my guess is he was just going around the track just to make sure his setup was feeling fine for the race.
Yeah.
And probably did get out of the way, but the game thought not good enough. So kind of an unfortunate situation for Smith.
Yeah, we've just seen Wookie cross the line. He improved slightly to a 120.7. He's in P7 at the moment. It's going to be Connor next over the line. And I don't think he is going to improve. No, he's slower by a couple of tenths.
Oh, Stu's lost it out of Ascari, big time.
Oh, we can't see it now.
Yeah, I just jumped on board of him. His back end stepped out on the exit of Ascari, and he's gone straight into the wall on the left-hand side, and it's ripped a wheel and stuff off. So,
yeah,
not what Stu would have wanted.
Hive just improved to a 120.8. I don't think any of the top guys are going to improve here. Friddy's a couple of tenths down. There's now Fatari there on the inside of the Parabolica. Not sure what happened to him. But
P2 for Friddy
does improve to second. Baby Hornet was actually on a faster lap, but he invalidated. And we saw Connor, I don't think he improved. Stube, as you said, had his accident. And
Eunice has gone into the pit, so that's qualifying done.
Yeah, so we have our grid for the comp tier Italian Grand Prix, and the Ferrari Tifosi are going to be absolutely loving that, because they've got a man on pole in Baby Hornet from Friddy in the Red Bull, and then Connor, Jay Sarge up in fourth on the hard tyres, and then the second Ferrari of Stube. Who knows where he might have ended up if he hadn't had that crash, but he will start in P5. And then you've got Armour Red in the AlphaTauri, Wookie in the McLaren, Hive in the Mercedes, single track in the AlphaTauri, another hard tyre qualifier, and then Winky in the Mercedes rounding out the top 10.
That is super close with those top three drivers. 87,000 separating the top two, but then it's 97,000 separating second and third. So, yeah, 97,000 separating the top three. That is super close.
Yeah, and even down to P6, Armour Red, less than 0.2 of a second,
Yeah.
separating the front three rows of the grid. And it's only down to P12 before anyone's outside of a second from
Mm.
Baby Hornet's time. So should be a very interesting Grand Prix coming up with a lot of drivers very, very close on pace.
Well, it's no surprise the lap times are that close with the nature of Monza because the way the track's laid out and the nature of it, it's just a track that you have to go full on attack mode. And I know Martin said it's going to be dry for both quali and the race, but it does look a bit of a hazy start for the Grand Prix. Very overcast and a bit of haze in the distance.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to see if that clears up or if it's going to stay like this for the entirety of the race. Martin, if you
Martin,
try
yeah.
that, I think you'll be okay. We should have a 5 minute break now between quali and the race, so you should have enough time. I think it will
Uh,
work, but I'm not going to put my house on it because I'm
I'm
not sure.
not. I'm not 100% sure on that myself. I mean, I don't even know if he does leave. It'll probably kick him from the session. I don't know, but because sometimes if you leave during a practice session, it tends to kick you. So I don't know what Martin's going to do about it, but it may work if he wants to give it a try. But I think somebody's readied up straight away. We haven't had a break.
And drivers have just retired as well. I don't know what's
I
happening.
think somebody's readied up straight away.
Let's go. I'm just going to check in the Discord. That feels like that might have been a mistake, and it's
Yeah, I think we're gonna have a reset by the. Yeah, Martin's put in the YouTube chat red flag, so it'll be a reset.
okay. So I guess that's because of the fact that someone did ready up too early.
Possibly.
Yeah. So a bit of a hold up here for the start of the race, and we're going to have to go back and set up the grid now as well, unfortunately, which is going to add a bit more time to things. So we'll leave that up
Depends
on the screen
how.
for a sec so that the drivers, whoever's setting that up, can see the grid.
Well, they'll probably have a screenshot or something of the grid beforehand, so they'll probably be ready for it. But it depends how quickly all the drivers in that can get into the new lobby.
Yes, that as well. So we're forced into having a bit of a break. We were going to have a break anyway
Just a
because
bit of a longer
of,
one.
yeah, it'll be just a bit longer, and we'll need to get some new invites as well. And got the invite, so we can join back up again. And once that's happened, oh no, session no longer exists. I'm going to turn this music off because it's absolutely
Yeah, mine's.
horrible.
I've got session no longer exists as well, so.
Okay, so Wookie might need to try that one again. But yeah, I just had to turn that music off. It was
Yeah, it's not the best
not,
music by any means.
no, very distracting when you're trying to talk. So yeah, I mean, Carl, you've obviously raced at Monza a couple of times on Monday.
Yeah.
What do you find is the sort of secret to success around the Monza track in this game?
Uh, I'll definitely say bottle because if you're not willing to commit, especially in a qualifying lap, you're going to be kind of lacking a little bit. It's a track that naturally you have to attack and be aggressive, but obviously not too aggressive because you don't want to be causing anyone issues. Obviously, you want the straight line speed, but you also want the turning and traction out the corners. So you, I think I ran. I think it was 9.9 on the aero, so relatively higher than we would normally run at Monza, because obviously naturally you go for the lower aero and whatnot because of the straights and that, because you predominantly full throttle for most of the lap. Just hope we can get some invites back in, because for some reason it weren't letting us in last when we had the invites.
Yeah, hopefully Wookie knows that we need another invite, because it didn't work the last time. I'll just go back and check the Discord again. Discord seems quite quiet, considering that
I've
we just had a
noticed
red
that.
flag.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think one thing I've noticed a bit, I guess, with this game compared to the last ones is that low downforce tracks do seem to require a bit more downforce than they used to. Because I was like you, I ran 7.5, I think, on the aero for the race on Monday, and even then it still felt a little bit like I could have maybe used a little bit more. But obviously you don't want to compromise too much of the straight line speed around here. But
Connor's just sent us an invite, so hopefully this works.
oh yeah, they've just come through. So,
I mean, luckily for you elite drivers, you had a dry quali and a dry race. Obviously I was in there as well.
yeah.
We had some wet conditions towards the end of Expert, which threw much the cat amongst the pigeons. There was the odd few drivers that decided to brave it and stay out, but towards the end of the race it was clearly intermediate conditions, because those that had changed over to the Inters under a safety car when the rain was getting a bit heavier obviously benefited in those on the dry tyres. I mean, fair play to Martin, who stayed out on the softs in those wet conditions, and on the night finished second. Was able to find the grip and keep his car in one piece with those last two racing laps under the wet conditions.
Yeah, well, in elite, I mean, like you say, we didn't have any rain, but we did have a late safety car with about 4 laps to go, I think, and that sort of put me in a position of needing to. Well, I stayed out on pretty old medium tires, and
Yeah,
obviously loads of people pitted in onto softs, so they had a huge pace huge pace advantage over me in the last couple of laps of that race. But I made that decision really because I figured it was the only way I was going to be able to stay in the points, or at least up in the top end of the points.
It's a 50-50 call. Whether in those situations, like with the late safety car in general, it's a 50-50 call. Do you go track position or do you go for the fresher rubber? There's no right or wrong answer which way to go about it. You either win or you lose, regardless of which way you choose it.
Yeah. Just a reminder, Carl, to hit. Oh, you've done it. Okay, never mind. I was going
Yeah,
to
I've
say
just
hit
seen that.
spectating. Yeah, we're all good. We should be going shortly. I imagine they'll just be sorting out the grid order now from the.
Yeah, the sorting through the grid from the stream and vice versa. Message to everyone in the lobby, don't forget your setups. Rule 1, make
Oh
sure you
yeah,
load your setups.
yeah. So easy done to forget that. I've definitely fallen
Yeah.
foul of that a few times in the
And
past.
those couple drivers that did a run on the mediums at the start of qualifying and then did the soft run at the end to save possibly a set of softs for the race, obviously has now been null and void because everybody's got every single set of tyres and they're all fresh.
Yeah,
So it's a clean slate now. So it'll be intriguing to know what some driver strategies were going for. I mean, with the reset, they may even decide to swap it up and think, right, now that I've got all the tyres available, I might switch my strategy up. But I think majority of the drivers will probably go for the safest option, which is the medium hard strategy, because it's pretty much the safest strategy on this game in general. You can, I think, pull out a medium soft if you can nurse the tyres well enough, but I think the safest option will be the medium hard strategy.
yeah. I think I would agree with that. Hey Sarge, good to see you. Yeah, I think it's if you feel confident enough on the hards, you could even go for a hard medium to, have the better of the two compounds at the end of the race. But that is quite a gamble because you might end up losing positions at the start because your tyres are less grippy and not up to temperature. Whereas if you're starting on mediums, you'll definitely have a bit more of an advantage in that regard. But it looks like finally we are underway with the formation lap. So now we can find out exactly what the tyres have gone, what the drivers have gone for in terms of tyres for the start of this race. And it looks, Carl, as though what you said is what the most of the drivers have indeed gone for.
Yeah, the majority of the drivers have gone for the medium tyres. There's about 3 drivers that have gone softs and then 2 towards the back that are doing the hard tyres, so probably looking at the longer first stint and, as you say, probably saving the softer, quicker tyres towards the air final stint for that run to the line. Those on the softs, I would say, if we have a safety car in, probably I would say the opening probably 5 or 6 laps would probably take the advantage of that and change onto another tyre so it gets their provisional stop out the way, so then they won't have to worry about using a different set of tyres. So
Yeah, I don't think I would want to be on the softs at the start with the heavy fuel. I guess the only person who should benefit from that quite a lot is Friddy because he's obviously right near the front. He could get himself to the front and then pull out a gap in the clean air. Just had the AWS tyre strategy graphic come up to say that you can do a soft medium, although I'm not so sure about that. It was
it
suggesting
it
11
it
laps on the softs.
is, yeah, it is doable, but would you risk it?
Yeah, not sure.
I
Not
mean,
sure I would.
yeah. But as you say, with Freddie being on the front row and on that soft tyre, I would expect a very good launch by that Red Bull and probably a Red Bull leading out of the Rettifilio chicane.
Yeah. So now the drivers are lining up for the start of the Spanish Grand Prix? Where did that come from?
Italian.
The Italian Grand Prix. Goodness me. It's going to be a long race if I carry on like that.
Oh, Armour Red's overshot his grid box.
Yep, he has. And Fanning and Laupi at the back have lined up
Horrible
now.
angle.
Yeah.
Can't even see the lights.
Well, we'll go on board with Baby Hornet to see those 5 red lights come on. And they now go out, and we're underway for the Italian Grand Prix. Looks like it's been a fairly even start. Baby Hornet moving across there slightly to try and block Friddy into turn 1, but it hasn't worked because Friddy looked like he was going to get to the front, but Baby Hornet did actually brake a bit later into the first turn. We've got Sarge and Connor going side by side out of that first chicane and into Curva Grande, and Jay Sarge has managed to get himself up into 3rd place. Stoob has lost a position to Wookie, and Ware has... Oh, never mind. I was looking at the wrong car.
Dropped down a fair load of places because of people tripping over each other at the Retifilio chicane, as we have a yellow flag, which was, I think, Smith running into the gravel out of the Della Roger chicane. But luckily that yellow was over and done with quickly.
Yeah, I could see that someone had dropped back, but I couldn't figure out who it was. But it was Armour Red, who started, I think, in P6, and he's lost 11 places on this first lap. So a bit of a disastrous start for him.
And now we've got Eunice. Eunice in the Williams getting out of shape around Ascari.
And now
his car is in one piece though, so he's not lost too much time, although he goes very deep into the Parabolica.
Friddy's gone for it at the first chicane, but Hornet tried to hold it, and then Hornet had a bit of a snap of oversteer on the traction coming out of the first chicane. That's given Friddy the lead of the race, and it's allowed J Sarge also to move up into 2nd. And Baby Hornet making a little bit of a mistake, costing him a bit of time, although Sarge went a bit deep into the second chicane, and Connor's had a go.
Yeah, Connor down the inside of Lesmo 1. Brave stuff there.
Oh, and Hornet going wide out of the second Lesmo, and that's going to allow his teammate Stoob to get past him as well into 5th, and Hive as well up into 6th. So a disastrous start for the pole sitter, a disastrous start for the Tifosi at their home race, and now Hornet having a look around the outside of Hive into Ascari.
I wouldn't make a move in the middle of Ascari, that's for sure. Brave stuff, but obviously he sensibly backs out of it.
Yeah, he needs to maybe take a moment, and as Fox with a big slide coming out of Parabolica, and that's lost him a little bit of time, but no positions. Single track has got ahead of He Fast AF in the Red Bull at the start of the 3rd lap of this race, and now at the front it looks to be, for the time being, a battle between Friddy and Sarge. Sarge, of course, the expert tier driver, looking very good on the mediums at this stage and starting to put a bit of pressure on the Red Bull.
Yeah, decent pace by Friddy in these opening few laps, which is no surprise being on those soft tyres, and he's doing exactly what he needs to do, as we've got a yellow flag at the Della Roger chicane, and it's a McLaren, I think, that's stationary, so that's your teammate, Kaiser. Yeah,
it is. Unfortunately, he's on the hard tyres, and it's not working out for him so far, but he is away again, back into the race.
Quite a gap between the front two and Connor, just under 2 seconds.
Yeah, and Connor then with Wookie, Stoob and Hive close up behind him. I think we're about to see the lead of the race changing here. Jay Sarge with the fastest lap on the mediums, and with the DRS easily getting ahead of Friddy. So Jay Sarge on the mediums, but with really strong pace at the start of this one.
Yeah, Freddie, to be fair, Freddie doesn't really have to battle Sarge that much, with Sarge being a higher tier driver and getting a 4-place demotion afterwards, so he won't have to worry too much about him, just focus on himself. His main closest challenger in the tiers is Connor in third. He's got a gap of 2.5 seconds at the moment as they come out of the first Lesmo. And I can see that obviously it is May the 1st, and 30 years ago to this day we lost one of the greatest drivers to ever grace the sport in Ayrton Senna, and I can see that Freddie is running a Senna inspired helmet, so quite a fitting day to run that helmet design, I would say.
Yes, and fitting country as well to have the race, because it was the San Marino Grand Prix, but the Imola Grand Prix circuit is actually in Italy. So yeah, nice to have the race on that track, and maybe we'll see Freddie on the top step of the podium later on with his Senna inspired helmet. But still a long way to go in this race. It's lap 5 out of 27, and for the time being he's just hanging on to the coattails of Sarge.
Making a move on Connor. He's got the move done through Curva Grande.
And Stube as well might have a look, although he backs out a bit earlier. Connor is red light flashing on the back of the car, so he's running quite low on ERS already. He's had to do a lot of defending so far, and he's falling away from Wookie, so he might be vulnerable to attack from the guys behind as well.
He will have DRS at the moment because he's only 7/10 behind Wookie, but so that will help him in the run down to Ascari, and also the run down to the Rettifilio, the Rettifilio chicane. But it's quite a gap from Wookie in third and Freddie in second. 3.4 seconds between those two at the moment.
Critically though, Freddie has fallen out of DRS range of Jay Sarge in front of him, so he won't be getting that boost along the 2 DRS straights at this track, as Connor has gone into the back of Wookie, outbraking himself into turn 1. And he's lost a little bit of his front wing as a result of that. And then, what happened there?
Got a bit of a car park at the Rettifilio chicane because of it.
We'll have to see now. Connor, his right front wing end plate is missing after that contact with Wookie into the first chicane. He just outbroke himself by the looks of things. You could just see we were on board with Stube at the time, and he just looked a little bit out of control into there, as Wookie very wide on the exit of the second Lesmo, going a bit sideways, and a yellow flag in sector 2, but it looks like that might have already cleared up, which is good to see.
Yeah, Connor struggling with the missing of that end plate. Obviously, like you say, outbroke himself. Probably weren't ready for the overspeed from the toe and DRS, and as you say, misjudged his braking by... It's so fine margins for the braking zone for turn 1 because of how heavy the brake zone is, because of how quickly the run is down to turn 1, and how much you got to bring the car slowed down because of how tight the entry to the first corner of the Rettifilio chicane. So easily done, but plenty of laps for Connor to come back, as Martin's got 3 seconds for track limits.
And we've just seen a bit of action on the pit straight. It was Winky, Hive, Armour Red, and I think it was Laupi as well, almost going 3 wide down into the first chicane. And quite a few battles going on at this stage.
Yeah, just noticed the change of position when I jumped to it. Fanning up to P6 now, coming under the radar in the Alfa Romeo. Obviously started right at the back after qualifying. worked his way up to P6 7 laps in, so quiet race from him coming through. Expert driver himself.
I think we're going to start seeing, as we've got another yellow in sector 3.
Baby Hornet, I think, got out of shape out of Ascari's Lorpy's gone. He's crashed at Ascari, and there's the first safety car.
Yeah, there it is. Yep, it was.
My guess is the likes of Friddy, Hive, and Quimo will probably be pitting because to get off those soft tyres and probably boot on a set of hard tyres.
Yeah, the front few cars actually were already past the pit lane when that safety car came out, and they're going to be able to go right around the track with the Delta enabled for everybody, so they won't necessarily lose out by missing.
To be honest, I think a lot of people coming in for the hard tyres. Even some of the medium runners have come in for the hards, as Hive and Quimo have actually gone to the medium tyres, and so's Keyser, so they've gone medium. So I would say Hive and Quimo will probably have to pit again, because I don't think those medium tyres will make 19 or so laps. They're feeling really horrible going that far with them, so I would expect those two to come in again.
Yeah, well, this is actually what I did on Monday in Elite. I think we had a safety car at around about this point in the race, and I was starting on the hards, and I did come in for the mediums, and they did make it to the end, although we did have another safety car late on. So if we don't have another safety car, then it might be a bit more of a struggle, but they've just got to stick with it now and see what happens, as the front of the pack excuse me, has now made it to the pit lane, and so far it looks like they are all coming in. Smith in 6th will be the last one round, and we'll see what he does as well. But it's hard tyres all round.
Smith stayed out on his hard tyres that he's started on, so he's taking track position, which not a bad idea. Only 8 laps in on those tyres, but everyone else on the fresher tyres. I have noticed single track is on the soft tyres, so he's looking to make a few places on the restart when we get going.
Yeah, he's definitely going to have to pit again. There's no way he can get to the end on those. But everyone else in the top 12 on the hards, so they should be good to the end of the race.
Oh yeah, the hards will be able to make it. We're on lap 9 at the moment. It's the first, I think, full lap the safety car's going to go round, so I would say probably end of lap 10 or end of lap 11 the safety car will come in, so it'll be about what would that be, 11 to 27, how many laps? I can't do maths that quickly.
So that'll be 17 laps.
Yeah, the hards should comfortably do about 17 laps, as long as you don't take much out of them. But tyre wear around Monza in general is not that high because of the straights. Yes, you're putting a lot of temperature in the brakes for the heavy braking zones, but majority of the track is predominantly straight, apart from the chicanes, the two Lesbos and Curva Grande and Parabolica and Ascari, but it's mainly just flat out straights, which allows the tyres to breathe for a bit.
Yeah, there are a couple of corners around here though where the load will be pretty high in those tyres. I'm thinking of Parabolica and Curva Grande.
Yeah, because it's quite Curva Grande, especially because you're full throttle and you're putting all the load. It's on the right hand side of the car, if I'm correct.
Would it
be the left side?
It would be
Curva
on the
Grande,
left, I think.
Oh, it'd be on. Okay.
because they're going round to the right and the friction is pulling the tyre
Yeah,
back
yeah,
to the
yeah,
left.
yeah.
It's my understanding of it anyway.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, you're right. I think in general the way around here isn't too bad, and especially on the hards it won't be a problem at all. But we'll
yeah. I
just have
think
to wait and see
that's
if we get any more safety cars.
yeah. I think that's why round here a soft medium is doable if you know what you're doing and you've got the car set up well enough to make sure you don't take a lot of the tyres out.
The only thing about this that's interesting now is that the hard tyres obviously take longer to heat up, and after 2 laps of running behind the safety car, they are going to be very cold indeed. And I haven't seen any drivers really weaving about too much, although, as I say, that J Sarge starts to do a bit of weaving,
You
try and
had
get
to
those
talk
tyres
too
warmed up.
soon.
Yeah, commentators curse. Maybe they're watching and they can hear me, and they thought, oh yeah, maybe I should
Possibly.
start a bit
Well,
of tyre warming.
I think Sarge is probably hearing us because obviously he put a message in the chat saying hi before we got going.
Yeah,
After we had to have the lobby reset.
yeah. So I'll just keep quiet next time. Shouldn't be giving advice.
But I think a lot of drivers always fox speeding in the pit lane.
Yeah, that's not ideal.
But I think majority of drivers will probably save the weaving until the end of when the safety car's in, so the tyres have
Yeah.
got the temperature in them for the restart.
That is true, but for me, I find that with the hards, it takes them so long to heat up that you almost want to
Yeah, you want to
start
do
doing
it.
that as early as possible.
Yeah.
But we have stayed out an extra lap because I think it's because of the Williams boys catching up to the back of the pack. We've got Eunice at the back still just coming around Curva Grande while the leaders are through the Lesmos now. So we should be able to get going again at the end of this lap. But it's been an extra lap for everyone to manage their tyre wear a bit more. And certainly for Martin, single track on those softs.
The safety car is in, lights are out, so we're going to go racing again. So hopefully Eunice can catch the back of the pack up before Sars decides to get us going again.
Yeah, he's just on the back now. I think he's coming up to Ascari with his teammate in front of him. So now the question is, when is J Sarge going to go? He's doing some tyre warming at the moment. And a good restart around here is crucial with the length of the pit straight into turn 1. And Sarge has gone. So we're back racing again in the Italian Grand Prix, and Sarge has got a really good launch, 6.5 tenths of a second clear of Friddy as we get going again. And then it's Smith who stayed out on his hard tyres, so he might be under a bit of pressure.
Smith getting quite a bit of a tow from the Red Bull because he was close enough to get that tow. I think
Fanning's gone off, I think, at the first chicane and dropped back. He's dropped back a few positions. And Connor as well, not had the best restart either.
No, he's coming under attack from Winky, his teammate. And Hive in the Mercedes having a look into the chicane and actually makes the move on Winky through the Della Roger chicane.
Yeah, he should be feeling pretty good about life right now because he has got the quicker tyre than nearly everyone in front
Connor
of him.
as well through Lesmo 2.
And already at the front.
Flying on those.
Yep. Already at the front.
Connor's going slowly all of a sudden. He's dropped to the back of the pack. Oh, he's missing an end plate, so that's why. Connor's missing his end plate again, so that's going to be another trip to the pit lane. So that explains why he stayed offline and allowed everyone through to not hamper anyone with the lack of wing.
We've gone 3 wide once again on the pit straight, and Stube has made it up into P3. Smith losing a couple of positions there. Wookie as well getting through, and it's going to be Baby Hornet next, and single track as well, coming up behind the Mercedes. And Stube has been released, and now Hornet going down the inside into the Restfilio chicane, going very deep, and Smith had to cut the corner because I don't think Baby Hornet left him room. Oh, and then single track pushed onto the grass, I think, in the background. But now, can he get past? Yep, Smith went wide into Lesmo 1, so Smith losing a few of the positions now that he gained by staying out behind the safety car. But yeah, the wear on those hard tyres compared to everyone around him is seeing him drop backwards for the moment and allowing everyone who gets past him to pull away and try and catch up to the likes of Sarge and Friddy, who have pulled out quite a big gap so far since the restart.
Yeah, you're saying that with Smith's tyres, he's got double the tyre wear compared to everybody else at the moment because he stayed out under that safety car. And with those, with the likes of Stube, Wookie, Baby Hornet and Single Track having a big tussle the lap prior, it allowed Friddy to open up the gap by a fair bit, but Stu will be wanting to close that gap now and try and get closer to the back of that Red Bull to hopefully probably make a move that would probably give him the race win overall, because obviously Sarge being a higher tier driver. So provisionally Friddy is currently leading this race.
Yeah, and Stube has been closing that gap slightly since he got past Smith. It's just around 2 seconds at the moment. I think it was about 2.5 when him and Wookie made that move.
We've got a yellow flag at Lesmo 2. I think that's a Williams. Eunice. Yeah, that's Eunice.
Not having the best of days.
Wookie really close to Stu coming into the Parabolica, so he's going to get such a launch. As Keys has gone.
Kaiser Soze.
Yep, he's gone out of Ascari, so that's another safety car. That, funnily enough, has saved Stu from a possible attack from the McLaren of Wookie down towards turn 1, because Wookie was right on the diffuser of Stu going into Parabolica and would have had such a launch with the overspeed and all of that towards turn 1. So the safety cars kind of saved Stu from possibly losing a place to his closest challenger in the championship.
And we have seen a few drivers now pitting towards the back of the grid. I can see Hive has gone for another set of mediums. Single Track has gone for mediums. Pretty much everyone on the mediums except for Eunice, who's gone for the hards. But
a fresh set of mediums isn't really a bad call from here. They'll make it quite comfortably to the end of the race from here.
Yeah, they might feel a little bit second rate by the end of the race, but I mean, if the guys in front stay out on their hards, then they'll be in a pretty bad state as well by the end of the race. So I think we might see a few of the front guys going for the same tyre.
Yeah, probably thinking of covering off those that have pitted.
Well, Jay Sarge decides not to do that. He's staying out on the hard tyres. Friddy goes in. Stu does not go in, and neither does Wookie or Baby Hornet.
Baby Hornet's carried on as well, so 4 of the top 5 have stayed out as Friddy's gone softs.
Oh, bold.
Well, we're going to have at least 2 laps under the safety car.
Yeah.
So 10 laps,
Yeah, 10
10 or 9
laps.
laps on those soft tyres.
Yeah. If
Worth a
we,
gamble, I would say, but they're going to feel horrible.
by the end, yeah.
Mm.
The only benefit is, of course, that there's a lot less fuel in the car now. So that's the big thing when you start the race on a softer set of tyres. They do wear quite a bit quicker. The wear will still be quite high by the end, but it won't be anywhere near as bad as it would have been.
Yeah, because obviously you're not putting that much of a load on the tyres, with the cars being much lighter at this stage in the race.
Yeah. And as you said before, Carl, the fact that we had the red flag and the restart, it means that for Friddy there, he's got a second set of completely fresh soft tyres that he can use. Whereas if we'd have gone straight from qualifying, he probably wouldn't have had that set.
Yeah, because he would have done at least a lap on them, so there will be relatively all right, but you wouldn't have probably used them at this stage in the race.
No.
Because they'd have at least a lap worth of wear on them. And I think if I go off of the tyre wear that I put on, I think it's about 3% a lap I put on the tyres. But I'm generally quite heavy on tyre wear, me, because of the way my driving is.
Is that 3% on the softs, do you think?
I
Because it could
think
be
it was
even
on
more on
most
the
most.
softs.
I can't remember, but it was roughly about 3%.
Okay.
I didn't really use the soft tyres much apart from in qualifying or a brief period in expert under a safety car, but apart from that I didn't really use the soft tyres all that much.
No, me neither. Didn't use them at all in the
I didn't
actual
really
race.
do much that much running on the soft tyres in the 2 practice sessions on the Thursday and the Sunday.
Yeah.
Done most of my work on the medium and the hards.
So that was what you were most comfortable with, and you stuck with it.
Well, it's the safety strategy, the medium hard tyres. It's the safest strategy to go for on all the tracks. I would say is the safest option. I mean, most tracks, medium hard is the only way to go.
Yeah.
The only 2 tyres you really need to use is we've got lights out in the safety car, so Bert Myland is off to stick the kettle on again for the second time.
Well, he might need to put a hold on that if we carry on as we have been in the last 5 laps. We've had 2 safety cars in quick succession after a fairly clean start to the race. But once again, it'll be Jay Sarge controlling the field from the front. The Ferraris have managed to get themselves back into this race. Stube in second, Hornet in fourth, and a McLaren in between with Wookie.
Yeah, crucial the 2 Ferraris being this high up, especially with their lead in the constructors. As Sarge has gone, we are going green flag again.
And
Wookie's
just looking a
so
bit
close
further
to the
back.
back
Oh,
of
this
Stube.
wing damage already. I don't know who that was for. Possibly Fox. Is it the Aston Martin of Winky going slowly? But yeah, someone there with damage on the pit straight, even before the corners. And Armour Red just gave Geke a bit of a smack up the backside through the chicane as well. Although he doesn't seem to have any damage from that.
Yeah, I was watching the restart from the guys in front. Wookie was quite close to the... Oh, Stube gets a big side angle from going out to the De La Roger chicane. Held it, but unfortunately has lost the position to Wookie in the process.
And that once again has allowed Jay Sarge to pull out a convincing lead on the first lap of the restart. 1.7 seconds now he leads from Wookie. And then he's got the two Ferraris behind him. 3-second time penalty starting to become a factor here as well. There's one for Geke in P6. Nothing in the top 5 at the moment in that regard. But as now Hive has crashed into Ascari, and that's a virtual safety car.
Yes, a couple of the hard runners staying out. Sarge had already gone by the pit lane before the virtual came out. Fox speed in the pit lane again.
Is he braking for the pits?
I don't know, but if I'm correct on the ruling, higher tier drivers, I think, because it's recently come in, I think last week at I think it was brought in at Silverstone, so it's been for the past 2 weeks now. I think higher tier drivers have got to make a pit stop on the penultimate lap, so I'd say lap 26. Higher tier drivers have got to make an extra pit stop, I think, in the new ruling.
So that will be Jay Sarge will have to do. Single track, Fanning, Airways, Fox River, possibly a few others.
I think Fanning's losing places. Probably a bit slow on the restart. He's lost 2 places to Winky and Quimo.
Yeah, and it looked like Quimo went very wide on the exit of Ascari as DRS is enabled once again. Quimo coming back on the inside of Fanning and the Aston Martin as well, as we've got a real squabble on here between those three. Smith trying to get involved as well. No DRS on this straight, but Fanning is going to make the move anyway into the first corner ahead of Quimo, and then Winky and Smith going side by side, and Airways getting involved in the back of that as well. And I think Smith went for a spin on the inside of the chicane, so he lost out in all of that. But Fanning the big winner there, and Airways moving up into P12 as well. And now we have to keep an eye on what's going on at the front as well, as Wookie goes very wide out of Lesmo 2, and that's going to allow the Ferrari of Stube to come back at him onto the straight before Ascari. So the Ferrari's coming back into it once again.
Obviously, you don't get DRS on the start-finish straight, but you do get DRS on the run down to Ascari, and obviously, as you said, Wookie getting a bit out of shape at the second Lesmo, which would have lack of speed, and obviously with the DRS assistance that Stu would have had as well, would have made that move relatively straightforward. But Wookie now looking to pay him the favour back on the run down to turn 1.
Oh, and a crash in the background. Armour Red is out. He was getting swung round to the left hand side by one of the Red Bulls, and we have a third safety car.
I think it was Hefast, because I think Hefast has got damage and missed his braking by a bit and almost went down the escape road at the chicane.
Yeah, and we could just see from the camera angle we were on that I think maybe Armour Red was just squeezing him a bit too much on the left-hand side of the track, and in the end, inevitable that contact was going to happen.
Most drivers now at this point will probably be coming in for a fresh set of the soft tyres, with it being on so close to the end.
Yeah, currently with this lap, 7 laps remaining, but by the end of the safety car there might be 3 or 4. So yeah, that's certainly been Smith, Connor and Fox River have all done that already. The rest of the cars that missed the pit entry when the safety car came out will surely do the same when they come in. Well, surely they are going to come in. Sarge is not coming in.
I think Sarge is staying out because of obviously having to pit on that provisional lap, my guess is. So he's
Yeah,
trying to save that pit stop. So I think Freddie's carried on his 6 lap softs,
yeah,
which,
both Red Bulls.
yep, I think Stube stayed out as well on the hard tyres.
And that actually
Seeing,
might work out okay for Stu because Friddy, his softs are going to be going off. He fast is on older hard tyres than Stube is. And then single track and airways are not on fresh tyres either. So he'll be a bit protected from the soft tyre runners by the guys behind him.
yeah, because Wookie, the leading car from those that have pitted, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4 cars between him and Stube. So he's got quite a bit of traffic to get through. Obviously, he's going to be in full attack mode. But you say Freddie with his soft tyres are not going to be in the best of shape at this point, but Stube's tyres won't be in the best of shape as well, because I reckon at this point in the race, I think Stube's going to be in that graining phase, so he's not going to have the grip that he would have probably like.
No, but once his tyres get up to temperature again, they should sort of hold their grip, whereas Friddy's from here on out are going to be going off and getting worse. So it's probably crucial for Friddy, if he wants to win this race, that he makes the move quickly on Stube and then tries to pull out a gap while those softs have still got a bit of life left in them.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, when the safety car comes in, it's going to be I'd say about 4 laps to the end. Maybe, 4 laps to the end, because I reckon the safety car will come in this lap. Or would you say the next one? I can't remember.
I think he'll probably do another lap because, well, I don't know. I'm just looking at where Fox River is on the map. He should get to them before the end of this lap.
Yeah, he's just coming through Parabolica now. I mean, the safety car is generally slow anyway, so... But those on the soft tyres, likes of Connor and Fox, who are not on the back of the queue yet, yes, you don't really want to be taking too much out those soft tyres at this point to catch the pack, but the safety car goes relatively slow, especially in the corners, so he might easily get to the back of the queue before the safety car even gets to the end of the lap, so could be in this lap.
Yeah, well, Connor's made it.
Fox is just come out of the Della Roger chicane and is just entering the first Lesmo.
Well,
so
the safety car would have...
about a straight behind, but yeah, safety car would have had the message by now.
Yeah, you would have thought so. So I think it'll be coming in at the end of the next lap. So we'll have 3 laps to the end of the race from there. Fox River has caught up now, but it was too late. So, oh no, it's not too late. That is such a late call.
That is a late call. To be honest, I was waiting for that for some reason. It was like I weren't going to say anything, but I kind of had a gut feeling that it was going to be such a late call as Sarge has decided to go.
Yeah, he managed that quite well, Sarge, because he didn't have a lot of room to work with there, but he has still managed to get a decent getaway. Friddy was caught napping a little bit by that, so he's not as close to Stube as he might have liked to be, as there's some out-braking manoeuvres going on in the background. Single track through ahead of He Fast, and I think Wookie got through past Airways as well, so Wookie has started his charge back towards the front of the pack once again, but he's still got 3 cars between himself and his rival Stube, as we've just seen He Fast go very wide out of the chicane, but he rejoins.
Fanning's gone round just before, and Hornets also lost a load of places as well. So contact, I would say, at the De La Rocha chicane for two drivers at least.
And Friddy has got past Stoob somewhere, so I don't know if Stoob made a mistake or if that was a genuine overtake. But he's back in third, Friddy up to second, and Stoob now under pressure from single track as well into Parabolica. Fanning with a 3-second penalty through Ascari by the looks of it. Stoob now down to fourth, so he now has Wookie on very fresh soft tyres right behind him as we start lap 25 in this race.
Yeah, all Wookie's got to do is pass Stoob, and he's gaining a little bit of points on him in the championship, as I think Fanning's... There was a yellow flag on the straight, but Fanning seems to have got going again.
And I tell you what as well, Friddy is not losing time to Jay Sarge like he was earlier in the race. So I think that the difference in tyre compounds is helping Friddy at the moment. He has caught up very quickly. I mean, obviously Jay Sarge is, he's letting Friddy through.
Yeah, he's not putting up a fight to Friddy, so doesn't want to hamper any comp tier drivers.
Yeah, so I think now the important battle really is between Stoob and Wookie, but I think with that tyre differential, it's probably going to be quite straightforward for Wookie to make this move.
Oh, he's gone for a switchback at Parabolica with the grip that he's got, and he's got the move, but Stoob's going to slot in behind and try and get a bit of a tow, but the speed of that McLaren on those soft tyres. Wookie had so much more grip than Stoob, so obviously the load on those hard tyres was dragging the Ferrari towards the outside of Parabolica, and the grip that the McLaren of Wookie had allowed him to cut back on the inside, and as Fanning's retired in the pit lane and obviously made the move on the inside of the Parabolica, did Wookie to make the place.
And has he just about got out of DRS range? No, Stoob held on to it.
He was just inside of it, was Stoob.
Yeah, so that's really his only opportunity now to come back at Wookie at all. Wookie's tyres will be better. It's just a question of whether or not Stoob can hold on to the tow and the DRS. He's well within it at the moment. He seems to have closed in massively on that straight, and that might give him an opportunity on the start of this final lap of the race as Jay Sarge and single track pit. Yeah, they're out of the way now. And Stoob with the overspeed on the inside into turn one, and Stoob has managed to come back, but he's gone too deep into that first chicane, and he gets a 3-second penalty. No.
Gives the place back though as well, which is what he should be doing, but he put all his eggs in the basket, and one fell out, sadly, so...
Yeah, and that's pretty much ended that battle, because obviously he's not going to be able to get 3 seconds ahead in the time that's left. Fortunately for him, the two guys behind have also got 3-second penalties, so he should be secure in his podium spot. But it looks like it's all settled at the front, unless someone makes a mistake on this final lap. Yeah, still a bit going on behind.
Yeah, Stoob and Wookie obviously scrapping that hard has allowed Friddy the comfortable air, and obviously all Friddy needs to do now is just go through the Parabolica and take the checkered flag.
Yep, as Baby Hornet just crashed out of Ascari, I just caught that in the background. But up at the sharp end, it's Friddy. He started on the front row and he wins the Italian Grand Prix in comp tier. And it's Wookie in the McLaren in second place. Stoob in third, and he fast benefiting from the penalty situation to get a fourth place finish from Geke, and then Winky, Eunice, Quinmo, Smith and Connor rounding out the point scoring positions, with the drivers from higher tiers, Sarge, Single Track, Airways and Fox River outside of the points because they all pitted and backed off at the end of the race.
Airways took the fastest lap at the end as well on those soft tyres, obviously pitting towards the end himself.
So no bonus point for anyone in the points. But yeah, what an interesting race in the end. The safety cars, I would say, really added to the intrigue of that one with the strategies. And a victory for Friddy at the end of it all in the Red Bull. Who would you say, Carl, for driver of the day?
I would say Smith would definitely need a mention with being on a quali ban and being down in 17th and getting into the top 10. So he definitely deserves a shout. I mean, Quimo as well from 16th to get into the top 10. Freddie did what he needed to do. He capitalised on the safety cars and stayed within Sarge throughout the majority of that. So I can't really choose because there's quite a few people that could possibly deserve it.
Yeah, I'd give a mention to He Fast and Geke as well. They came through the pack quite nicely to finish fourth and fifth.
Yeah, came under the radar, those two definitely, because I don't think we had much of them, so they've come under the radar.
Sorry to hear that, Martin. Having problems with button configurations during the race. Can't have helped. I just realised because I turned my music off, there was the F1 theme wasn't playing during the results screen, so lacking a little bit of atmosphere there. But anyway, there we go. That's the Italian Grand Prix for Competier. So thank you very much to everyone for joining us tonight. Carl, any final thoughts from you?
Yet again, late safety car plays factor, and it was a 50-50 call. Do you stay out on the used tyres and take track position, or do you go for the fresh tyres? And obviously, Freddie with the staying out benefited from that. Wookie had a bit too much to do. So, but in all, quite a good show from the Comptier drivers from start to finish.
Yeah, definitely. And Wookie able at the end to make up a little bit of ground on Stube in the championship, so that keeps that interesting as we go into the next race. We will now be having a week off in MRC because the Monday falls on a bank holiday here in the UK. So the next Grand Prix, I believe, is at Spa, the Belgian Grand Prix, and it'll be the week after.
Yeah, it'll be, I think it's Friday the 10th for MRCX.
Yeah,
which opens the racing week.
Yeah, and then obviously the Monday and Wednesday after for all the other tiers. So looking forward to all of that. But obviously tonight the racing's not over. We've got Sport tier coming up in about 20 minutes time or so. So I hope to see you all there for that. But until then, it's been Carl and myself, Chatty Duck. Thank you very much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you again very soon.